So, welcome everyone. This is a conversation that I have the privilege of having with Robert Nedoshian. And this is our third conversation, I think. And it's a more in-depth exploration of Nedoshian's work with regards to his transformational processes, his work in on the internal aspect of Aikido. And I think this is a vast domain and there are tremendous number of dimensions I would like to explore today with you, Sensei, and get a chance to kind of maybe get a better, more detailed and finer version of what you feature in your work. And but I would like to start off with just kind of getting your take on kind of an insight I had about your work. You know, in spending in my time in Japan, I spent a number of years with Saito Morihiro Sensei, and was struck by his commitment and his care, his admiration, and his desire to want to share O Sensei's work with the world. But he shared a certain dimension of it. It was all the physicality, all the angles, all the mechanics, all of the way the body mechanics would go. And you know, after leaving Japan and coming into contact with you, I noticed the same kind of devotion, same kind of admiration, same kind of commitment. But there was a whole different dimension of O Sensei's work that I felt you were tapping into and wanting to share. And I was hoping maybe to ask you, how would you define that, or did you feel that that was something you were taking on?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I was interested in what should we call it? Spiritual, tricky word these days.
Mm, mm.
The well, let's call it spiritual, inner,
Okay.
finer, uh, and that was my interest even before I went to Japan, before Aikido.
Mm,
An interest and drew me, and then what really drew me with O Sensei was the level of this inner world that we call spiritual, that he was functioning from. He wasn't just talking about it, he was functioning from it and saying, yes, you can function from this inner finer. It's not just spiritual belief.
mm.
Did I say that? Okay, I don't know.
Yes, you did. You said it quite well because actually that's probably what I felt was very compelling about your work when I first met you. Because in the sense of training the physical aspect of Aikido, I had this desire and very strong inspiration to want to go into the spiritual domain. And but most of the spiritual domain in meditation in the traditions out of India and Tibet were a lot about transcendence, about getting to a place where you had an overview of the area and kind of got a larger take of what was happening and a sense of being in contact with the whole thing, but there was not necessarily an integration and evolution of the individual. And this is where I felt your work was very striking because you were talking about that larger domain, that original nature of oneself, but you were also talking about how that manifested as the individual, as the character that we take on, the system that we live through. And I found many teachers lacking in that second part. They would bring up the person to a maybe transcendent experience, but they wouldn't necessarily know how to bring it back down into a functional state. And I thought you were very unique in that skill, in that capacity.
If I'm following you here,
Mm,
that you're, I believe, referring to the awareness of finer dimensions, the awareness of
yes.
where a lot of people, percentage is very high. It's an ancient problem or they major in the awareness
mm,
and they sort of don't realize or missed the other half of awareness as the experience.
mhm,
Okay. And Osensa was trying to show that. That
mhm,
was his mission, could I
mm,
say. Uh, he told me he could have uh, been a very good spiritual awareness teacher.
mm,
Like that too, of course.
mhm,
But there were plenty of those guys around.
mhm, mhm,
So his mission, if I could say, was to show that it was a functioning, a here and now.
mm,
Don't go anywhere.
mm,
It's here and now.
mm,
Whereas a lot of folks, if they get into the awareness, heaven is up there. It's
mhm,
way over there.
mhm,
And this is icky.
mhm,
Let's get away from this. Let's get
mhm,
into this here.
mhm,
So the lineup uh, potentially is not very good. We're
mhm,
essentially trying to show that it's here and now.
mhm, mhm.
Did I say that okay?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't.
you said it great. You said it great. In fact, it reminds me of a story you once told in a class you were giving, and you were expressing your early stages of spiritual exploration, specifically around your practice of meditation. And you, if I remember you correctly, you said, I was spending a lot of time in meditation. I was really going into it quite deeply, and I suddenly got to this place where I'm in the heavens, and there's this clarity and this openness and this like vastness, and I'm saying, okay, so what now? And I hear this voice that says, go down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was very
Very-
intriguing.
In,
Yeah.
in retrospect, I did very good in the basic upper meditation style of into finer, bumped
Hmm.
into advanced beings hanging
Hmm.
out there and hey,
Hmm.
how you doing? And
Hmm.
finer and finer, uh, the angel singing kind of
Right,
level.
right, right,
You
right.
know, and I continue going up finer and finer and go through the top of this, I don't know what it was, universe.
Hmm.
And that's, I said, no, doesn't look like much hair. It's kind of
Hmm. Hmm.
sort of blank or whatever,
Hmm.
dark or something.
Hmm.
And that's when I heard, go down. What the
Hmm.
heck? Go down. But then I began to practice going down.
Right, right, right,
Yeah.
right.
Starting here and settling deeper and going through the first heavies
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah,
to realize there's finer dimensions also here. But at first it's thick, it's heavy, it's hard, it's the floor,
sure.
head through the floor, you know.
Hmm.
Uh, but it's the same other half of creation.
Hmm.
Uh, blah, blah, blah. Where
Well,
are
I
we?
think your the way you use this phrase a lot in almost every time I've heard you teach, and you've just used it right now. And that's the phrase of settle and open. And that seems to be the one of your most fundamental doorways for opening up into process work. Could you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, the settling would be important because if you just open in your basic meditation, spiritual style, you'll open and you'll open and you'll open with this
Mm,
upward drift.
right.
A lot of awareness. It's very nice. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Mm,
And we miss its partner, its counterpart,
hmm.
oh, under half of
Right.
things.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And so to settle open to the under half of things.
Hmm.
Yeah. And to realize those some of the heavies that come at a lot of people,
Mm,
eight monsters, I call it, a term of
hmm.
monster,
Hmm.
are really allies as you settle and open and
Hmm.
let them show their true colors.
Right.
That this underworld is a beautiful world, equal to the upper. They're partners.
Mm, mm, mm.
Yeah.
Nice.
So when Sensei talked about mind-body harmony, he was talking in the big sense, not the human sense.
Hmm.
Oh, yes, I think I tell my body what to do. Yes, I've got it. I've got mind-body harmony.
Mm,
And the big picture is this great force called mind and
mm,
this great force called body,
mm,
not to confuse it with the human sense of that,
mm,
but
mm,
two great forces that were part of the original creation.
mm. Mm.
So we've sort of lost the harmony of those two
Right.
by majoring in just the awareness.
Mm.
You see, in a sense, they're trying to bring that back and show that clearer
Mm.
because it's missed for too long by
Mm.
too many. That's an
Mhm.
ancient problem.
Yeah, yeah. I think it would what you're saying right now it reminds me again on what I felt was so also so inspiring about some of the work that you were doing was as you're mentioning this partnership between great mind and great body that oftentimes in the transcendent realm in the meditative practices even in the maybe the physical integrative practices like yoga and also the way Aikido is practiced oftentimes in other dojos, the mind is always commanding the body. The mind is always kind of uh, trying to get the body to conform to what it wants. And you were the first teacher that said, no, no, let's allow the body. What's the body allowed like? And then to invite that body to speak about itself in class was like, whoa,
Yeah.
this was great. This was really great stuff. Because it demonstratively came out in the techniques because when the body was allowed to do Aikido, there was an intelligence which was flowing that was not that was beyond the scope of the mental, but a deeper, more fundamental intelligence. I don't know if I'm speaking too much, but can you
Yeah.
talk about that?
Well, how I used to, I guess I still do,
Mm,
word it was the upper awareness part
mm,
majors in awareness and could I say minors in experience.
mhm,
The partner, the whole under half,
mm,
majors in experience
mm,
and minors in knowledge or
mm,
awareness.
mhm, mhm.
So now you got both.
Right, right.
Let's call it a she, whatever you want.
Mhm,
She. Uh, uh, so she has her sort of mind body, and he has his body mind.
mhm, mhm,
And we're trying to get the two together
mm,
to continue this development, advancement, moving along to an original source. Is that the right phrase here?
mhm,
Heading towards what Osenzo would call manifest, a heavier world.
mhm,
Next world, the hidden, I call it the sensing world.
mhm,
Next world, the divine world. Now we're getting close to the beginning of creation.
mhm. Yeah.
So, what helps us to move in that direction experientially?
Mhm,
See,
mhm.
you talk about it, nobody, yes, there's heaven. I got it. And nothing's happened.
Sure. Right. Right. Right.
No experience.
Yeah.
We're and you sort of can't get back with just the awareness.
Yeah.
Not properly. Not properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like we project some form of heaven or understanding or enlightened state in it's as being someplace else other than here within the domain that we exist in. And maybe we transcend it or maybe we somehow include it, but we fundamentally have a very difficult time truly actually living as it in the awareness of it, but also in the experience of it. And that's where I felt you are very unique in that way. Osensei was very unique in that way. There were a number of other teachers of Osensei's time that I had mentioned to you, Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, and as well as Sri Aurobindo and Rudolf Steiner. But there was one um, quote we had talked about maybe opening up this dialogue about this one quote from Chardin. And the reason why I like the quote because it for me, it resonates with what you talk about oftentimes of experiencing ourselves as a center and a circle, right?
Yeah.
And when you say center circle, what are you referring to?
Ah, um, that the center represents the character,
Mm,
uh, the aliveness of the character, And the character is in his own world. First, we could call it situation,
Hmm.
his own world. He's in his own universe,
Mm,
circle.
mm,
And those two forces, we're back to the he, she of it.
mhm,
We're back to the great idea and the great body.
mhm,
So, in a situation, by law, because of this harmony that's inherent
mhm,
from the origin,
mhm,
this harmony that's inherent, where the center is trying to be equal to the circle, of course, and the circle is trying to feed the center
mm,
properly.
mm,
So it's
mm.
like a he and she game here, you know.
Right, sure.
You got to be careful being too human with this,
Mhm,
but they're attracted to each other.
mm,
And then more than attracted, they want to dance with each other. More
mhm.
than that, they want to whatever with each other till they realize it's not really two, it's a oneness. This is
Mm,
getting very advanced now.
yeah, yeah,
Then we pick up properly, probably at the heavenly level.
sure.
But you get clues about it, some degree of experience in the sensing world level. Yeah.
Mm, mm.
Did that
Yeah,
come out all right? I
yeah,
don't know.
very good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. You're batting 1,000. So
So in Aikido, we talked a lot about center circle, or our sensei did, right?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because it mimics something that Chardin said, that he said that consciousness contains three three different properties. That each consciousness has a center, and there's a circle around that center that includes his world, and
Yeah.
that when that and that every consciousness can always go deeper into that center, which
Yes.
then
It's an
change.
ongoing. Yeah.
Exactly, yes. So
I
there's a
thought,
dimensionality about that process.
was that a question in there?
Yeah, no, it was just
Uh,
yeah,
Statement. Or,
yeah.
yeah. That there are certain, I call them travel vehicles. I was
Hmm.
trying to, since he referred to them as, I think he would have used travel vehicles too. Uh, when he talked about the Golden Bridge,
Hmm.
uh, you're saying that there's many potential ways of traveling into finer and finer and more
Hmm.
original. Uh, the center circle is one of them.
Hmm.
Yeah. And so it sounds like
Yeah.
Chardin saying, as you get your center circle sense, easy, next finer.
Yes.
There's a center circle.
Yeah.
Easy, next finer.
Yeah.
And then you experience the center and the circle as aliveness, energy, whatever. It's an experience, not just, yeah, I understand the map. I got it.
Right.
There's experiential with this.
Right.
Yeah.
And he says the last result of that process is that as you go through a deepening of your own experience of your own center circle, you start to join with other centers in your consciousness. You start to connect with other beings who have centers. You start to actually resonate with
Yeah.
other beings
Yeah.
vis-a-vis the fact that the deeper you go within yourself suddenly connects you with the world in a deeper way, which I always found was a very important principle.
Yeah.
Going in
Yeah.
brings you, yes, yeah.
That's why a lot of people, or a lot, those people that are well, spiritual, God, I don't like that word right now,
Mm,
who other people go want to sit at the feet of,
mm,
they're being touched by the quality
mm,
that that leader, that yeah, is exhibiting, is
mm,
experiencing, and
mm,
they say, boy, I got to visit Sri whoever or
mm,
whatever yoga. Wow, just being in their presence. Wow.
mm,
Because they're in a better level of this to
right,
such a degree that everyone else can be affected, unless they're really thick and who's he? He's nobody kind of thing, you know.
yeah, yeah,
You can be really thick, but if you're settled and open, you begin to feel these things,
sure,
you know.
absolutely, right, right.
Uh, I mean, we even see it in the human. Somebody special walks down the road,
Mm,
and if you're anywhere near sensitive or just a normal, you say, who is that guy?
mhm, mhm. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
nice,
It's just there's something extra there.
right. right.
something that glows, something that a little bit different,
Mm.
a little special.
So
Yeah,
what's this line that we're talking about? Are we talking about evolution? Are we talking about integration? Are as we move finer into our character and
that's the name of the game. We to get back to eventually our original source. We've been on a trip
mm,
that way. Here's creation. Now, to understand yourself, go ye and fun around in creation.
mhm,
As you get a full experience of how it works, as you come back, you fully realize
mhm,
you are.
mhm,
So we're on a journey,
mm,
and this journey can get really thick
mm,
because it goes to heavier and heavier and heavier. And
right.
here we are, human.
Yeah, right.
Uh, but it came from an original perfection. It's still going on.
Hmm.
So you move into finer, and the finer is there.
Mm,
So you move from heavy physical to easy, settle, get a little sense of, and oh, an energy flow. What is that? My fingers are tingling.
mm,
I feel more delicate. Oh, yeah, I touched that cup different. What is that?
mm,
Settle and open, finer and finer and finer.
mm, mm,
Yeah. So you'd want a surgeon, for example, to
mm,
not be heavy cut like
mm.
that, but to have this delicate touch
Right.
because inside your body away there.
Sure.
So finer and finer and finer.
Mm, mm,
Doesn't necessarily mean softer and stuff like that.
mm.
It has its own power,
Right.
but trying to get a direction, a sense of direction here, I think.
Right. Yeah, yeah. So when you and so in facilitating this process for people, I notice that you oftentimes will say, as you do this process, the one thing that's very important is that you easy the eye. You take that part of ourselves which wants to jump out ahead and make it happen. And maybe you could speak a little bit about it because I have my own interpretation, but I'm curious if you could share that.
Well, Bobby,
Hmm.
I use Bobby, Robert, Nadeau, Sensei, whatever word you want.
Hmm.
Bobby doesn't have a lot of imagination, a lot of possibilities. He's Bobby.
Hmm.
Easy with Bobby because Bobby will hold me into Bobby.
Hmm.
I should be working in a factory if I were stayed with Bobby,
Hmm. Hmm.
you know?
Hmm.
Sense of something more. Easy at this, in some degree, easy, Bobby, to
Hmm.
realize I didn't have to stay in a factory my whole life. It was
Hmm.
convenient at that time, that year,
Hmm.
but not forever.
Hmm.
Eh? Uh, so easy, and I had to easy with Robert.
Hmm.
Realized there was a Nadeau.
Hmm.
You see, Bobby couldn't have done the work at Esalen that I did for whatever, more than 10 years.
Hmm.
Uh, he was okay with a little class at home with some of his people or at the dojo,
Hmm.
but he had to shift easy into a larger sense of himself,
Hmm.
Robert
Hmm.
or Sensei or something,
Hmm.
to be able to cope with Esalen.
Hmm.
He had to improve his center to cope with that circle that size. That's an
Hmm.
Esalen. It's not just my little dojo
Hmm.
size.
Hmm.
That led to the US size traveled
Hmm.
around.
Hmm.
And that led to European
Hmm.
workshops.
Hmm. Hmm.
You can't stay a little. My first Bobby couldn't even imagine doing that.
Hmm.
And imagine a room full of psychiatrists sitting there listening to my talking.
Hmm. Hmm.
I barely got through high school,
Hmm.
you know. But this continued to develop where that began to happen. As
Hmm.
that happens, this develops as this relationship of center, circle, circle, center.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
If somebody says that situation's too much for me,
Hmm.
what they're saying is, I don't yet, or I'm not quite ready to develop me centered character. I don't know how these energies work to
Hmm.
make me equal to that size
Hmm.
situation. So
Hmm.
some say it's too much for me. let me get out of here.
Mm, mm,
You don't know some of the basic training of how to equalize balance.
mm, mm.
That's where Aikido
Nice,
comes in. Yeah.
nice, nice. So it's like from if I'm hearing you correctly, there's kind of a force within the center that wants to expand out, but also this
At the
circle.
moment, Sensei's calling that aliveness.
Sure, sure. Then there's the circle, which is also calling out a certain level of character to meet itself. Because if you so there's this kind of an inner forces and
Two
outer
energies.
forces. Yeah, exactly.
Two energies.
Right. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. One's more, gotta be careful here. One's more male, careful as a human being. Oh, yeah.
Sure.
But it's not exactly the same as the forces from the situation.
Sure.
So right now, Sensei's breaking that for me with the aliveness and the vitality.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. But anyway,
Very
just to
cool.
say that they're a bit different vibe, but they're trying, but like a male and female, they're trying to come together to
Hmm.
continue to move into finer,
Right.
to
Right.
continue this quote journey
Hmm. Hmm.
back to the original.
Right.
Blah, 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 blah.
Well, I mean, the also too, I think your work in terms of working with two forces, or what I often refer to as polarities, the he, she, the even physical ones, up, down, back, front, right, left, um, fire, water, and these things, their mind, body are. How did this kind of system of two forces, these two sides, because I you referred to the system as a if we work as an individual, there's a system. The individual is a system, and you're referring to these two forces within that system. Am I correct?
It depends what size we're going to look at, if I'm
Okay,
following you. Then
sure,
we just look at the a human body development,
right. Hmm.
then we get them to settle and open. I'm a centering major. That's what I start with.
Sure.
Somebody else might be a circular major at
Hmm.
first.
Hmm.
So up and down
Hmm.
energies.
Hmm.
I get to feel better. I
Hmm.
stand a bit straighter. I breathe a bit better,
Right,
hopefully. Uh, I look a little wider.
right. Yeah.
Continue up and down. I get a
Hmm.
little more alive, a little
Hmm.
juicier.
Hmm.
Okay, so where are we going here?
Hmm.
So that's taking that piece and using the two.
Right. Yeah.
Then, as you get more advanced and more open, you realize there's this and there's that
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
this. So
Hmm.
it's a pattern, but it's
Right.
expanding.
Right. 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 Right.
Yeah. And that
So,
goes on and on and on
yeah. Can you
to the
tell, because that sounds like a good lead in for what you refer to as travel vehicles. How did, because what you're, it seems like you're laying out the way a travel vehicle kind of unfolds.
yeah. Uh, a travel vehicle. There's many. You'll have your preference.
Mm,
Oh, Sensei would say, yes, you'd have your preference, the one that comes sort of easy to you. But play with some of the others to get a
mm,
little different
mm,
sense of things.
mm, mm,
Say that well, but so more space,
mm.
easy settle. There's more room. I call that a
Mm.
1 by 2, a 2 by 2, a three
Right.
by. Yeah. Uh, More room, more room, more room.
Mm,
Using that to eventually get back to the original creation size space, which was everything.
mm, mm,
And it's a hell of a big space, let's say that.
mm, mm,
So I can use space, space, space. On my journey back to this more original space.
mm,
Okay.
mm,
The when it gets tight and boxes me in, that tells me I'm into a heavier matter world and
mm,
getting tighter. It's not Bobby anymore, it's weird Bobby.
mm,
It's Bobby who's going to freak out any moment and do
mm,
crazy things.
mm, mm,
So
mm,
space, easy,
mm,
easy.
mm,
So that's a good one for many people.
mhm, mhm,
Man, qualities. Gee, I have a feeling I should be more caring.
mm,
Okay,
mm,
easy, settle. Caringness. Can you glow around the heart? Big deal. Caringness. Starting to hear other words cropping up here, like lovingness or a deeper sense of caringness.
mm,
Starting to feel a bit. And I remember I'm kind
mhm,
of fast at this now.
mm,
Other people shouldn't expect one moment.
mm,
It does get fast. Oh,
mhm,
but you try to just be fast, it might just be an idea.
mhm.
Some experience.
Right.
Excuse me, I'm choking here.
Take your time. But I guess that's what you're defining a travel vehicle is that it leads you through the experience of the process of the quality or the of the dimensionality that you are, rather than just to more concepts about what it might be in the future. It's a
We
very
both
much
have to admit here, yeah.
yeah,
Both, yeah.
yeah.
And if we can start them off a little sooner
Mm,
with the sense and experience of both, it'll facilitate them.
sure.
If they just do awareness, 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 and get into finer and finer, but then the active of the experiential stuff
Mm,
of creation
mm,
may scare the hell out of them. It's going to be too big.
right,
They have no practice with it.
right.
You thought it was a monster as a human being. What the
Mm,
hell could it be in a much bigger level?
right,
Tries to
right,
show there.
right, right.
God knows, it's not comfy.
Well, that mirrors a very interesting teaching that comes out of the Tibetan Book of the Dead, which was written by this teacher Padmasambhava, and he basically laid out. He says after you die, he says you come into contact with a greater sense of who you are, the fundamental original self, and if
Yeah.
you're willing to go through the painful process of merging with that, all things are going to be good. But if it creates
It's
too
a
much
barrier.
if it creates too much pressure for you and you start running away from it, it
Yes.
turns into a monster and it starts to chase you.
Yes. And you go back to heavier and heavier. Running.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
All that border there,
Yeah.
a border,
Mm,
and it shows to different people. Some people it's dark,
mm,
a deep dark, and they want to go into a deep dark,
mm, mm,
Uh, so it can show in different ways to different people, but there is a border between major. There's even a little border between Bobby to Robert.
mhm,
Robert to not a little border.
right.
Uh, but as you continue uh, major steps from, say, manifest world to sensing world,
Mm,
or the death time you're
mm,
talking about,
mm,
could show the border a little heavier.
right.
Yeah.
So how do you lay out the proper approach to for transitioning across our borders? What is it? What are the elements that are necessary, the building blocks necessary for us to be able to make that transition from one border to another, from one area to another area through that border?
Going through a border.
Exactly.
Yeah. At first, I think some knowledge. We need some knowledge. We need some awareness.
Sure.
Yeah. So to try to explain, yeah, yes, it looks heavier.
Mm,
It looks like monsters.
mm,
Easy, settle, open. Don't panic.
mm,
Hopefully, you tell them what
mm,
they're going to
mm,
do. They're going to do easy. What is it really? So I
mm,
bring up that game.
right.
Or if it's yelling at you, you're a horrible person. We hate you, kind of
Mm,
thing.
mm,
What's it really saying? Yes, at first
mm,
it said you're an asshole.
mm,
Okay, easy, settle, open.
mm,
Say what? So I like to play the say what game.
mm, mm,
Okay. Uh, and I try to tell stories of some of my practices.
mm,
Not that theirs are exactly the same, but I was meditating settling, opening. Suddenly I'm on a snake pit.
Hmm.
I got no love for snakes.
Hmm.
Damn things are biting me. I can actually feel,
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
what the hell? But I said, wait, no, I'm in a meditation room. Hang in there. Otherwise, I would have got up,
Hmm. Hmm.
out of there. I settle and easy open. I remember, I think because it's a lot of years ago. Uh, and after a while, the snakes aren't biting me. They're snaking around, but they're starting to smile or smirk at me from the side. I said, aha, the game is afoot.
Hmm.
Continue to settle, easy open.
Hmm.
And then they turned into just energy spirals. So I had some
Hmm.
awareness of energy then. I kind of
Hmm.
liked it. Oh, it's energy.
Hmm.
Continued, went down deeper with it. And
Hmm.
there's this beautiful lady who she'd move in these energies. So she was the mother of energies or
Hmm.
something. You
Hmm.
see, I didn't follow through properly because this is way back, like
Hmm.
50
Hmm.
years ago or
Hmm.
something,
Hmm.
and know everything about the game here.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah,
Hmm.
so this was the beginning of an archetype character in my system.
Right.
Yeah. Uh, but I didn't know quite enough.
Hmm.
But I got that far at least.
Hmm.
Uh, I heard about a Catholic saint, I forget her name. But when she was sitting, she had wild animals biting at her.
Hmm.
I understood where she was because to me it was just, oh, she's at snake pit level.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
don't know what she did with it, but
Hmm. Hmm.
Saint Teresa, I don't remember.
Hmm. Hmm. Nice.
Uh, that a lot of people, you ask them to settle, they get nervous
Right.
because there's extra energy.
Right.
Yeah, their little pressure comes on them by law because of the situation.
Hmm.
This is trying to be equal to it.
Hmm.
So they it's extra energy and they don't like that situation.
Hmm. Hmm.
They're afraid of that situation or they overreact to that situation,
Hmm.
kind of thing.
Hmm.
Uh, see, their understanding of the energy is not there.
Hmm.
They don't know that it works that way. They don't
Hmm.
know what's happened. Of course, you're going to get energy.
Hmm.
Now you're either going to go and go crazy running around in circles and accomplish nothing when your house is burning down around your
Hmm.
ears,
Hmm.
eh? Or you're going to go catatonic. It's going to freeze you.
Hmm.
You can't move.
Hmm. Hmm.
That in Aikido, at least we get to practice a bit. Other
Hmm.
art, so.
Hmm.
But here comes a little pressure. You're getting more energy. Let the
Hmm.
energy flow.
Right. Right.
And if with the added pressure, you start to get more physical and out there, you're screwing up.
Hmm.
That energy is there, but you're tightening up on it. It's
Hmm.
tightening you.
Hmm.
Uh, how far tighter can you get?
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
you get Bobby getting tighter, you get a crazy man, you get a
Yeah.
dangerous guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mentioned him before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go there.
Yeah.
Too tight, too crazy.
So one of the things that seems to unlock that kind of tightening is and you're very good at this is that you get those energies to talk about themselves. You say what, as you and you
Come to
I've
terms with them.
yeah, but I've seen you
How they
do that.
work.
I've seen you do that when you facilitate people getting into the body and you say, okay, be the body aloud. And okay, now tell me about yourself. And you got people out there speaking as the body, not about the body. And you
Yeah.
can tell the difference. You go, no, don't tell me about the body.
Yeah. Well, you
Tell,
can actually see them stand to the side and talk
yes.
to the body over there. It's like, no, no, no. No, no, no. It's
So
so obvious.
you're really good. You're really good at pinpointing that because I think that's a very subtle thing, and most people don't really truly appreciate speaking as the body rather than speaking about the body. And and I've seen you facilitate other people where you get them to speak about the energies that they're facing, and they start speaking about what's going on, and the energies are speaking through them as them, and that's such a liberating process because you suddenly going, okay, wait a second, these energies are not truly threatening me. They feel very intense, but they're actually, there's a reason they're here, and there's something they have to say. There's something that they want to share.
But the phrase I use is mix up a better character,
Uh,
you.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. But again, a lot of people don't know that basic. How sad.
yeah.
Because as soon as the energy starts to move a bit, they
Mm,
say, getting itchy, let's get out of here.
mhm, mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
One
Yeah.
time I was sitting and probably doing a basic setting. Opening was kind of a basic. And I could have swore ants were crawling around on me.
Mhm,
I kind of knew, no, 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 it's just the energy or whatever my sense of it was in those days or going way back.
mm.
But even so, I opened my eyes to double check, even though I knew that energy starting
Sure,
to show
sure.
some creepy crawly.
Right.
Yet there are a lot of people who can't sit still because
Yeah.
they get creepy crawly. They're up and out. So how to get comfortable, how to have that talk to you,
Mm,
explain itself. So we try to lay out some stuff,
mm.
so they can read about it, know about it, but they've got to sit with it and actually experience it. It's not good enough just to know about it.
Right,
You gotta,
right. And
ah,
that's what's so beautiful about the practice of Aikido, because it's a perfect container
yeah.
for playing with these energies and actually getting a direct experience of our system, our individual system, and then its polarity, its two forces, and
Yeah.
then meeting another individual and suddenly entering into a relationship of two
And
forces.
and we don't have to lock into Aikido,
Yeah,
Some non-Aikido people may be watching and
sure.
they may not be in shape or really have the interest to do a martial art
Mm,
setup.
right.
Uh, Tai Chi is great.
Hmm.
Uh, Hatha yoga,
Mm.
tennis, and golf,
Yeah.
you know. Uh, but with these same principles clearly. You see, I used to teach golf a bit,
Mm,
uh, or workshop
hmm.
now and that happened. Uh, I don't give a damn about people's golf game.
Mm,
But it gave me a chance to teach them to center and settle and open better ground, da 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 da. And if they could catch that and realize that, oh, that's bigger than just a golf game, and they would go home and settle and open and
mm,
whatever. That
mm,
was great. I
mm,
didn't care about their golf game, but it was one way of presenting this material.
mm, mm, mm.
Yeah.
What what you're saying reminds me of another thing that took me a while to really kind of get an appreciation for. But as you mentioned before, in terms of mixing a better self, in terms of allowing the energies to mix for a better self, you were be very specific in many courses that I took with you, that you would be you would it was very important to identify the line of development that you were going to be moving into. You weren't necessarily going to
Lineage. And lineage.
lineage, exactly, lineage. And that identifying the lineage was really important. That just because you mix a great Aikido teacher doesn't mean that you're going to go and be a great chef. You got to turn around and do it again in a different fashion. And that identifying the lineage was really, really important. And maybe could you speak a little bit more about that?
Yeah. There are a lot of things that carry over. So if you go from, well, let's say, a tennis player
Hmm,
and you go over to the golf course, because you're playing a good tennis game doesn't mean you're going to play good golf.
hmm,
Okay? But some of the main pieces can carry over. When you're playing tennis, you're a little more grounded, a little more open,
right,
allowing a bit more.
right.
So a lot of those things will carry over into the golf. But golf still has its own structure.
Hmm,
Okay. Or being a CEO has a certain structure, certain energies to it. But
right.
you go home to your family, I don't think CEO. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and maybe to be clear on your lineage, let's see. Uh, yeah, if you're gonna, I bumped into this when I came back from Japan. I was working in a factory because nothing, Aikido wasn't known yet.
Hmm,
Uh, Worked night shift. and realized it was taking me a long time to go to sleep after like 3 a.m. before I could go to sleep. I realized something's wrong there. I mulled on it, played with it, and realized I was still retaining work energy,
Mm,
even though work was over. But I hadn't made a distinction.
mm,
Oh, thank you, work energy, helping me out.
mm,
See you tomorrow.
mm,
And then open to next, which is go home, have a little bite,
mm,
settle, and go to bed.
mm, mm,
Then when I caught that, then I didn't have to stay awake till 3 a.m. I could
mm,
go to sleep.
mm,
But I knew something was throwing me. It didn't feel right to, stay awake for all those hours.
mm, mm,
But see, my lineage was worker,
mm,
and I had to clear from that
mm.
to go home, easy, go to bed.
Right. Right, 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 right.
At work, CEO, you're getting all this CEO energy, but
Mm,
don't you command everything, you
mm,
whatever. But when you leave to go home, I don't, again, I think get it clear from that
mm,
to let the energies of being daddy or
mm.
husband or lover or whatever
Right, right,
to be there.
right, right,
Okay.
right.
I'm sure it's not unusual for a lot of top CEOs to be divorced by their wife pretty and
Sure,
their kids hate them kind of thing. That wouldn't be an unusual joke, right?
sure, sure, sure.
Yeah, he's a great CEO and his kids hate him.
Well, I think that that goes for anybody who's skilled in one domain of their lives and can't necessarily change lineages to be a beginner again in a different lineage, because
And
if
if you
you,
don't know how it works, you want to let go of something you're good at
yeah,
to try something that's new.
yeah,
Scary if you don't
exactly.
know how it works.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And but once you get the roadmap, once you get the feeling for being at home with these energies and these forces, then mixing up a better husband, a better cook, a better father, it
yeah.
becomes much more accessible. And this is where I found, you're very intriguing because your layout of your work is applicable for any lineage. It's not just
Yeah.
only for Aikido.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And how we don't have to be too smart. What I'm trying to say is, uh, if I want to be a better person,
Mm,
I would like to be a better person, whatever that means. Okay,
mhm,
easy. I don't have to think what a better person is.
mm,
My system will start to activate. A little
mhm,
quick one just for fun here.
mhm.
Better person. A lot about, well, first be calm.
Mm,
And I can feel it sort of opening a bit.
mm,
First be calm. So to be a better person, first be calm and then we'll see. But see, I don't have to know. I don't have to say, well, I
mm,
didn't know I was supposed to be calm. My
mm,
system activated clearly calm. And
right,
clearly, because I've spent some time listening, anybody can do that and get versed
right,
in how it languages,
right, right,
shows itself.
right.
You got to practice there, fun around. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
think you've never said this, but I've always experienced you at being at ease with facing the unknown, about looking into, okay, what's this next level showing up and being available to it. And but being at ease with that moment of not knowing, that's a very rare thing. And actually bringing students to their own line of where that not knowing is and allowing people then to experience themselves in that next phase of themselves, that's a whole different kind of facilitation. That's
Yeah.
not and that's what I think is so valuable, especially these days with the amount of radical change everybody's experiencing in their lives and the contraction that can get stimulated, the capacity to, okay, settle and open and be available to what's showing up.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, that's part of easy the eye,
Right.
because eyes out there are very intelligent.
Mm,
I mean, I live in Silicon Valley. I figure all my students are way hell smarter than me. They're
Mm,
Silicon Valley
mm,
guys. In fact,
mm,
I called them that last night.
mm, mm,
Uh, but they're at the dojo. Hopefully, to try to catch on to this
mm,
experiential of
mm,
things.
mm, mm.
And where's I going to go with that?
I was talking about facing the unknown and being at ease with not
Yeah.
knowing.
And one thing we see is when we begin to do this, how instead of knowing what's coming up or you telling what should come up
Mm,
and being open, we kind of know you're doing an honesty factor. We kind of know you're doing a good job when something, a quality or some information or something shows that surprises you.
right,
And I
right,
love the surprises because
right.
it clues you in that you're being honest.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If you were setting it up saying, well, I want this and I don't want anything else, then you wouldn't be surprised.
Sure.
But when you're just open and the quality is there, actually, I never would have thought of this quality, and there it is.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So I
Absolutely.
always like that when people say that's surprise. I think great, but
And
you gotta be
and
honest.
and that inherently just points to the fact that the movement is into new territory. We're not repeating the best of the past. We're moving into places that have yet to be discovered.
Yeah. Or aspects that you miss, could we say it that
Yeah,
way?
sure. Sure.
Even if you're at the same level,
Hmm.
even moved along a little bit level, there are aspects that are clearer at that level.
Hmm.
Uh, I think qualities like colors, and at first the colors are a little schmeary, and what- the colors are finer and brighter and
Mm,
whatever.
mm, mm.
And as you continue, that's a travel vehicle.
Right.
That's potentially a golden bridge
Hmm.
because there's an original of things that we call qualities,
Hmm.
you know,
Mm.
blah, blah, blah.
Nice. Nice. So so far in our talk so far, you've mentioned a couple of times this sense of this original self, as well as also moving into finer and finer versions of ourselves, different characters on a particular lineage. What's the relationship between this
So
original self and moving into finer and finer dimensions of ourselves?
we can come back the other way, I think, and say,
Yeah,
I'm a character.
right.
And I've had other lives before, so I'm into reincarnation. Right. So, uh, lived before, experiences before.
Right.
And behind all of those,
Mm,
and for lack of words, behind all of those, there is a self.
mm,
Okay. Now, eventually, there's an original self, but let's not make that jump yet. Let's just stay with self,
sure.
who has the history, the records of all my past lives.
Mm,
So it's a little upsetting and opening where wouldn't surprise me if you bumped into, hey, I had this past life reoccurrence thing
mm,
happen.
mm,
They're just there. When you settle, open up more, the self that's there may have a chance to show that it's there as a thing.
mm,
Damn the words.
mm,
Yeah. Uh, and the self, because his character is out of the self, damn the
mhm,
word.
mhm, mhm,
Uh, and my job is to try to keep developing on this
mm,
journey.
mhm,
So the self is a guide on, a mentor to
mm,
Bobby, to
mhm,
Robert, to
mhm,
Nato, to Sensei.
mm,
Uh, so if Bobby's not sure, he kind of settles and opens and asks for guidance. Some people say, "Oh, God is guiding me."
mm,
Big of a jump here.
mm,
Okay.
mm, mm,
I like self
mm,
as a temporary,
mm, mm.
not to take away their God, but that's a
Right.
big jump.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, so self as being a larger unit, a finer unit.
Mm,
behind the character
Right.
that can help guide the character.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And working with people who are working with medical
Hmm.
people, sometimes they have to get to a level, my student medical has to get to a level of sensing
Mm,
where they can pick up the self if they don't quite understand what's going on with the
mm,
character who's sick and
mm,
in that family situation and
mm,
whatever.
mm,
Uh, well, they sometimes say, self, what's going on here?
mm,
Self will point out some things, may point out, oh, this is carryover from a previous life.
mm,
Nothing to do with this life, but they carried it over.
mm.
Da, 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 to facilitate the medical person
Right.
here in
Right.
dealing with them.
Sure. 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 Sure.
So a lot of possibilities
Right.
uh,
Right.
of utilizing the work.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I got off topic. Where were we?
Well, I was just referring to kind of the wording that you had referred to original self, and then we had been touching upon the subject of moving into finer and finer states of the character, mixing the energies to be able to move from a Bobby to a Robert to a sensei to Nado to sensei. And
And by
just
the word mixing is just a word that I liked. We could
sure,
say breed
right,
because they're kind of a feminine, masculine forces, the two
right.
forces.
Mm,
They breed a better you. So they
mm,
probably could say, I just like mixing,
right.
kind of
Mm.
my word.
Well,
But what
that's
you
that's
sense, you can use whatever word is comfy for you.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I think that therein lies the image of alchemy, right? Is that mixing of energies to give birth to gold, to a different form of the system. And
Yeah. Oh, Sensei liked the phrase recreate yourself.
nice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Pretty cool.
Nice. Nice. So I've got a personal question I want to ask you about. It's because I never saw you demonstrate it, but I'd always heard about it. And I thought you could just maybe, if you felt inclined to elucidate about it, is you used to teach, energy awareness workshops, and sometimes you would teach the skill of being able to see with your hands, see without
Oh, that
eyes.
goes, you're going back 50 years
I
there
know I
now.
am. I know I am. I don't know if you want to share a little bit about that process, but
Just something,
I've always
uh,
been wanting to ask you, and I never got around to asking you about it.
just something I touched on, not like I spent years with it.
Sure.
I used to pass through a lot of things,
Mm,
dog whisper, da, da,
mm,
da,
mm.
da, so they would just pass through. A George Leonard loved that, by the way.
Yes, I know you told me
I
that.
taught him that. He dashed home and worked with his daughters, introduced it to his daughters. He was so fascinated by that. He
Mm,
loved it. Uh, I don't quite recall.
mm,
Since I got a picture.
mm.
Uh, can't move this book or I'll move the TV.
Right,
Uh, not seeing the picture,
right.
somebody else would put the magazine cover in front of you, whatever.
Sure.
You put your hand over, you'd settle, of course, open, of course.
Mm,
Start to sense. And then you allow, because of your sensing,
mm,
you'd allow images to come to you.
mm,
Like I remember one that was a fisherman's picture
mm,
where the fish, the sailfish is doing one of those jump out
mm,
of water things,
mm,
and
mm,
there's this long line,
mm,
that,
mm,
and it was that picture. I think I remember the feeling of just being hooked or being caught. It wasn't
mm,
fish line picture wasn't that clear yet,
mm,
uh, but this thing of being hooked or caught
mm,
or
mm.
whatever.
Oh, wow.
So the image you would get at first were in maybe the general area. and then
mm,
they could get finer and finer.
mm,
But again, I don't, I was only on that kick for
mm.
a through two. You
No,
know?
but you shared it right. You shared it very well right now. I got a very good hit on your process. Thank you for sharing.
And again, then you, if you're interested, that grabs you, you'd play with it.
Sure, sure,
Somebody to put different picture books, none that you've seen,
mm,
try to be, you know,
sure,
as scientific as possible,
right,
and just practice,
mm, mm,
describe, and uh, describe verbally to
mm,
somebody else who
mm,
can take notes.
mm,
Oh yeah, I thought about that.
mm,
May not be good enough, you know.
mm, mm,
Uh, be
mm,
more explicit.
right.
This is what I'm feeling, or this
Yeah,
is what I'm seeing.
yeah, exactly.
Da,
Right.
da, da.
But there just to kind of circle back, and I wanted to
Ah, yeah.
okay. This is the latest book on your teachings that has come out just recently, and it was put together by a group of your closest students, Tisha and Lauren and Richard, Bob, Susan, and Elaine, and it covers a lot of material, a lot of anecdotes, a lot of different s- perspectives of people who trained with you and their experience of you, and what they gathered, what they appreciated from your work, and it does cover a lot of different themes. The open and settle, frame and flow, um, allowing and ease the eye, center and circle, the different travel vehicles that lead to different dimensionalities, the discover, the moving into, or the experience of the original self, and all these different kind of keywords that you use. And on as you were explaining, um, settle and circle, you gave that experience of you described that experience, you shared that experience of kind of going down, settling in, sinking in, and then that experience of the situation and the world around you, and experiencing yourself as in both realms. For me, that illustrates for me a very strong feeling of a tree, of the sense of that they're the roots, that feeling into the roots of the tree support the branches, support the growth of the
You
tree.
play with center. Tree is not quite likely. For many people, going to crop up.
Yeah.
It's a grip. Even though Sensei mentioned it someplace in the writing, I think I recall something like behind you is this grand tree, this
Mhm,
great, I'd call it a sequoia or
mhm,
something grand tree,
mhm.
kind of inferring, yeah, whatever. Anyway,
So anyway, but that leads me to what one of the theories or the approaches that I appreciate very much from you is what you refer to as the potted plant theory, because
yeah.
that for me has that same dimension of these two levels. Could you give us a little brief introduction to that?
Potted plant. Yeah, I thought it was kind of cute. That the world you're in, the
Mm,
soil in the pot
mm,
is there. And if your character, if you're supposed to be a great carrot,
mm,
okay, that the soil that's there is proper for a carrot to grow.
mm,
Okay. And if a carrot itself says, I want to be bigger, he sort of sends that call out to the soil and the soil responds.
mm,
Or it could come the other way. It works both ways.
mm,
Where the soil is, I'm the soil of carrots. This soil was created just for a carrot farm.
mm,
Then this is affected
mm,
because
mm,
this is talking.
mm,
Works both ways. Carrot to the soil or the soil to the carrot.
mm, mm.
Did I muck that up too bad?
No, no, you got it well. But there is one aspect that I've heard you always say that if that character is wanting to move into another state of itself, that giving giving that plant a bigger pot and
Yes.
actually moving to a bigger pot is the way to go because you support the under
Yeah.
half in order
Yeah.
for that expression to have the support that it needs to move into
Yeah.
another level
So,
of itself.
so that's a potted plant shifting to a bigger pot is
Exactly.
something everyone sort of knows, even if they're not into plants at home. They kind
Right.
of know that,
Right. Right. Right.
right?
Yeah.
Uh, so I thought it was a easy one to present as an example.
Mm,
If, and you can tell when anyone who's into their plants at home, oh, I've got to repot that plant. They
mm,
can tell it's not doing well because it doesn't have enough soil.
mm,
We would say, easy, let's move into the next dimension
mhm.
where there is more energy or more soil,
Right.
where I can grow better. And then you're,
Mm,
let's say, from a Bobby to a Robert space.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I kind of thought that potted plant was kind of cute.
Well, no, but it's a very accessible and relatable image, and people can get that quite quickly, which I always felt was one of your real strong skill sets, is that you brought these fundamentally very kind of subtle and sophisticated um, maps that Osensei explored as well as, you know, alchemists, spiritual alchemists from Asia, and they could use very elaborate
Oh
um,
yeah.
words and yin and yang, fire and water, and you would come in and you would start going, well, let's we've got Fred and Ginger, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay,
Hey,
that's
I'm a
but
Yankee
I
kid, you
know.
know.
Well, I bet that's but you were that's what I appreciate about you. You were able to translate those sophisticated words into words that people could relate to and resonate and access. And that's I'm
Well,
that
I
is
think
yeah.
one of my early impressions was if it's too much foreign language,
Mm,
a lot of people think I automatically don't understand because
right,
I understand that.
right.
Uh, so in that case, I would kind of have the feeling that the hell with the Japanese words.
Mm,
Uh, so I don't use key that much.
mm,
Energy. Oh,
mm,
energy. Now explain
mm,
how I use and sense energy.
yeah,
Fine. But key, oh, that's a Japanese word. And all
mm,
the Japanese understand key, but I don't.
mhm,
Uh, you're like putting yourself down,
mhm, yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Uh, so I'm for myself, like to not go heavy duty on Indian words, Chinese words, Japanese words. Some are kind of nice and like to use them. People know about them, but I don't like to go heavy.
Mhm, yeah,
Uh, Even when I went to Japan, I made an effort not to learn Japanese enough to get by, of course, but I wanted to feel. You
sure.
see, I was already into that finer feeling. Just try to feel what they're saying,
Mm,
sense what's going on.
mm,
You know. So
yeah.
in one sense, that was good training. The
Mm,
other sense, my uh, uh, capability of languaging Japanese is for shit.
mm,
Uh, but that was my training for sensing and feeling things, and so sometimes you get caught up in, oh yes, I understand that word, therefore I got it.
mm,
All you got is a word. You don't got the experience. You don't got the feeling of it. You don't got the sensing of it.
mm,
That was
mhm.
my choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was well done because when you use the language that we all can relate to, then we're really looking at the experience because the language is something that I'm not worried trying to figure out what energy means, but I'm looking at what you're talking about and you're expressing, you're transmitting it. And if you stay within the language that the people can relate to, then I think they're going to be much more. much more capable of actually getting that transmission and not getting too bogged down in trying to remember the Japanese term for it, which can get very disassociated because it seems like it's so far away. And sometimes it's nice. Sometimes there are words in Japanese that there's no word in English to that's equal.
Yeah, certain words are kind of cute.
Yeah.
I like oku lately for this deep under hidden background, not so obvious. Oku.
Nice. Okay.
That's
Cool.
yeah.
And
Uh,
last thing, real quickly, how do you because I've heard you use this term actually a number of times in the last few years, and you refer to um, an experience that you see you're having, but you see other people having at the same time, and you refer to it as downtime. Could you speak a little bit about downtime?
let's start simple. You're running
Mm,
track.
mm,
You get winded. You
mm,
got more left in you.
mm,
You stop. You pause. You probably bend over and breathe a little
mm,
deeper.
mm,
There's downtime. You
mm,
get to a better level of breathing.
mm,
And after a minute, okay, and then you continue
mm, mm,
if you've done a good job in the
mm,
next level.
mm, mm,
If you do a really good job, you get your second win.
mm,
Continue twice as far as you thought you could go,
mm,
whatever.
mm,
That's a downtime.
mm,
We use downtime every night when we go to sleep.
mm.
Busy all day. Now you got to rest. You got to, and some subconscious or whatever stuff goes on in your dreams and
Right.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
And all that's going on. But then you wake up the next day, sort of revived, hopefully, ready
Mm,
for the day.
mm,
Hello, world, here I am. Give me my
mm,
coffee.
mm,
The
mm,
thing.
mm,
So downtime, yeah.
mm,
Plants do a little bit longer downtime, but
mm,
in autumn,
mm,
go down.
mm,
Right? Regenerate during the winter, hidden,
mm,
come back up.
mm, mm,
So the basic kind of thing.
mm.
Downtime.
I think
What with it in our work? Well, we know in learning anything, there's
right.
that thing. A little
Mm,
bit of downtime.
mm,
Boom,
mm.
downtime. Boom, yeah.
Would you say
Okay.
that I would imagine you would agree in thinking that period that we had gone through in terms of COVID and us all kind of having to settle and stay uh,
Got to be
keep our
careful with that.
distance,
Okay.
whether or not that was a period of collective downtime.
Um, I really want to fine tune that
Sure.
wording,
Okay.
but I think we'd have to be careful of COVID in your downtime and nothing else. But in that downtime, there was
Mm.
my personal boom, bang,
Sure.
and not just I can't do anything because it's COVID,
Right. Right.
that you really feel boxed in.
Right. Well, that
Uh,
was
at
that was
that,
definitely some people's experience, but
yeah,
yeah,
apparently, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
They got so into this tight shell, they can't even come out of it now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
They're mentally affected by it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of overdid it somehow, but I don't know how to word it well right now.
Mm, hmm.
So, so yeah, there was a big downtime. But me personally, yes, 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 boom, boom, boom. I should have worked my own beats, or I couldn't do a 3 year downtime,
Hmm. Hmm.
Sort of
Hmm.
that was forced upon me, the
Hmm.
dojo were
Sure.
closed by law kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but within that, I still have my pattern, me.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
how to work it well, so
Yeah. No, I resonate with that experience. I mean, for the period that we had to close the dojo and we were completely completely on retreat at home here. It was one of the most phenomenally creative periods in my life, and
yeah,
it was really intense, but it was also, it was quite intense both collectively, but individually, very, very powerful time to reorganize and reconnect with what was valuable and what was essential.
Could I say we got, in that case, time to go a bit deeper, a little
Right.
fuller inner?
Exactly. Yeah.
However you word that, yeah.
Yeah. Um, so I just want to say thank you, Sensei, for sharing your perspective, sharing your wisdom, and transmitting that tonight, or this in our talk today. And I will this will be made available for people to be
Yeah,
able
some of
to
my Pinteresting, you know.
absolutely. Yeah. And so it's a great privilege and honor to be able to have this opportunity to interview you and benefit in the perspectives that you have mastered over the years and still remain fresh, which is always something that I find extraordinary about your teaching, that it always seems like you're teaching it for the first time.